Welcome to Film 360, the Full Circle Film Show. Tonight we're here with Mario DeAngelis. He is a wealth of filmmaking knowledge, so we're just going to dig in as soon as we get back. Okay, first off, if you guys are enjoying this show and you want to see more of it, please remember to like, share, and subscribe so that we can keep making this show and get this awesome information out there. Beyond that, though, Mario...
Thanks for having me. Yeah, I forgot. I got my haircut today because I just realized I was going to be on camera.
Nice.
So there we go. No hair issues. No flyaways.
Perfect. So Mario has been basically every role, I think, on a film
Almost.
set. Just about. He hasn't been an ingenue.
That we know of.
That we know
in
of.
this country.
He can't legally talk about it yet.
Can't.
But so there's a lot of different things I want to talk about, but I wanted to start off talking about Twice the Dream.
Yes.
Which is probably, we're filming this a little bit ahead of time. I'm guessing it's about to end its theatrical run.
So this is exciting. This just in. This is the information I was given. So out of 10 Utah theaters,
yeah,
it will be held for 2 more theater. 2 of the 10 will continue to have Twice the Dream for another week. So that's kind of cool.
That's great.
8 lost it, and it didn't have enough seats sold. But 2 theaters, Thanksgiving Point and Jordan Commons, survived.
Wow.
So another week. Now,
That's great.
I just want to point out that it's just a miracle. It's a Christmas miracle. That they even got a theatrical run.
Yeah.
Dare I say, quicker than most that I've been attached to. So that's miracle number 1. Miracle number 2 is that it had more than one theater. 10 theaters in Utah, 2 theaters in Idaho, and Mesa, Arizona in a couple of weeks. So 3 states with a theater. And so that's miracle number 2. Miracle number 3 is that they're getting a second week at least 2 of the theaters. And it's just they're relentless. Savannah and Steve are relentless, and they've been on this show, and they're just amazing at the whatever it takes attitude.
Yeah.
I just saw Endgame, and that was a theme of the movie, whatever it takes. And it's also a name of a documentary I made once, which I haven't gone very far with. So, but whatever it takes is a great attitude, because it's about everything that's talked about on this show.
Yeah.
It's a wrap up of, if you don't have that attitude, and I'm not being negative, don't continue in film. If you're just, short of murder, do whatever it takes to make your dreams come true. And it's cliche, and it's driven into the ground a little, not a negative, but the theme is true. Twice the Dream is about following your dreams and never giving up. 14 years, made this movie. Amazing.
Yeah, yeah. And so what was your role on the movie?
I was first AD, and I'm associate producer.
Okay.
I didn't ask for this, but for some reason, I'm at the very bottom of the poster, and my name is right next to Savannah's, and that's an honor for me. I didn't know that was going to happen. I didn't even know I was going to be on the poster. But the first AD role is kind of a funny story, where they pulled me in. They wanted me on the picture. I said, cool, what's your shooting schedule? We're going to do 7 weekends. I said, you're nuts. And anyone who knows anything about production is you go all the way through, you shoot during the week, and you take weekends off, or whatever it is. It's Monday, Tuesday off maybe, but you do 5 days in a row.
Yeah.
And I said, you guys are crazy, but tell me more of why you think this is going to work. And I am happy to say on your show, when I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I was wrong. It worked. With that said, 7 weekends, 14 days.
Yeah.
It won't always work. And there's a secret sauce to why it worked. And it was the attitude that I spoke of. Whatever it takes, family. So many people gave so much time. There was pay, but not a lot.
Yeah.
And then there was a lot of favors. And a lot of people just wanted them to succeed. It was like the Avengers assemble. They assembled all their friends from their past, all their family from their past, and everyone helped.
Yeah.
And no one complained. There wasn't any complaints.
Oh, they're great people
and
too.
And Steve and Savannah,
I bet they ran a great
amazing.
set.
Yeah. So and being the first AD, I'm kind of the jerk sometimes, but you just in order to get anything done in film, and TV. You just have to have an AD that, you know, I was kind of joking. I wasn't a jerk, I don't think, but you're not always the number one liked on set.
Because you gotta crack that whip a little bit.
There is a little whip cracking. I agree.
Yeah. Okay. Now, because you have such broad experience working on so many projects, I wanted to talk about. This is a little game we're gonna play.
I love games.
This is my game, IMDb or BS, and
I don't know what that means, but that's all right. Oh, IMDb or BS, got it.
So, right here we've got two movies that you did work on and one that you didn't. Okay, so we've got Inspired Guns, which that was local. That was LDS film. James Bond Jr. and Other Monsters. Okay, all right. I think the lie is James Bond Jr.
You're correct.
Oh,
yeah.
I remember. I used to watch the show.
Yeah, that's where I got it from. Yeah, it just popped in there.
Oh man, I didn't think anybody else remembered. I remember the
James
theme
Bond
song
Jr.
to that.
So do I.
He chases scum around the world.
Okay, here we go.
And now 2 lies and 1 truth. Okay, so the nominees are Time Freak, Animals, and Martian Dude. Okay, I think I've actually heard of at least one of these. So I think the truth is Martian Dude. No. Okay. Is it Time Freak?
Time Freak.
That's the one I was pretty sure I'd heard of, but
you should have gone with your gut.
Yeah, I didn't know if you'd worked on that one.
Yeah,
awesome.
I worked on Time Freak, yeah.
Was that a short film or was that a feature?
No, Time Freak was a feature. You want to hear the names in it?
Yeah.
And there's a sad story, kind of what happened to it.
Oh.
Sophie Turner, hello. Sansa Stark, Dark Phoenix.
Wow.
You might have heard of her, Sophie Turner. Skylar Gisondo, hello.
Okay.
Santa Clarita Diet, one of the best shows. Maybe canceled, maybe not. We're not sure. It's 3 seasons, amazing. Netflix show. And Asa Butterfield. I mean, these cats are young, great talent.
Yeah.
But it took 2 years to finish. I understand how that goes. That's not the weird part. The weird part is I don't remember a theatrical for them, and it got buried. I bought it on DVD. Yeah. It's on Netflix, but it's just like no push, no marketing. You know this, and your audience knows this. It wasn't great, in my opinion. Maybe what happened was the distributors saw it, and then they didn't. So somebody didn't like it, and they didn't think it was gonna make money, so it got buried. But Time Freak did finally come out.
Yeah.
And like I said, those 3 names, they're A-list.
Yeah.
So again, it doesn't. Sometimes all the pieces, people say, oh, if you have X, Y, and Z, if you have the list, let's say a list of 10 things, you will make money off your No. So, taking it back, Twice the Dream had more screen time in theaters than Time Freak. And Time Freak had A-list. And no disrespect, but, Twice the Dream, we don't have A-list names. We have people who have done stuff.
Yeah.
And so it's no slouches. It's not their first time on screen.
Right.
Okay? So we have great talent in Twice the Dream. And Time Freak has great talent. But, these things just, there is a magic 8 ball. But, sometimes these things just don't. Another perfect example of, you think it's a perfect storm. You think $100 million for Hellboy would be enough, and the A-list on that, and bombed.
I've heard pretty bad things.
Bombed.
And
So this perfect storm thing is like, you never know what it's going to take to make a successful movie.
Yeah, but I'm super happy that Twice the Dream has been
so
doing
amazing.
So well.
I'm so happy for them. And I'm not gonna talk about it too much because we haven't gotten it off the ground yet. But I am pushing them to do their next movie because that's important.
Yeah.
And there's a script, I've read it, and it's pretty close to being ready, in my opinion.
Nice.
So I'm gonna help them get that off the ground. And if they can do a movie a year, I think they're gonna be happier with their careers.
Awesome. Okay, so let's talk about, you've got so many different areas that you've worked in. So I wanted to pick your brain a little bit about how to make a set its best. How to create the best. And you can take this any way you want, whether it's culture on a set or gripes.
So it's a really interesting point, and it's an interesting question because, like I was talking about, what makes a perfect movie and what makes a movie successful? What makes a successful set? In my humble opinion, a successful set is controlled chaos. And the one that does that is the first AD. I've done it many times. The times when I've done it when it's all worked out exactly as I planned, was almost zero. Because you can really have all the pieces, again, on set fit. And some of those things include just, you don't have to be a jerk first AD. The joke is, but it's almost not a joke. It's almost true. You can either be a jerk AD or a pushover AD or somewhere in the middle. So I guess there's like 3 types. I try to be someone in the middle so that you can keep things on track, and that's good. You want to keep things on track, but you don't have to be a jerk about it. I think one of the gripes is when you're trying to keep things on track, getting all the people who are trying to do their job to be on board with the goal.
Okay.
When it doesn't work is sometimes when one or two of the people think their job's the most important. Now, I'm not saying which part's important. I say the whole thing's important. The whole kit and caboodle. Everybody's job has to be like in line. It's that perfect puzzle piece. So I don't think I would answer, or I would go politician answer on which job's the most important. Right. Every job on set's important. I get pushback on that. I understand. People say, well, if I'm not doing my job, though this thing won't get done. Well, that's not really, you cut that off early. And another issue that doesn't really work that I've seen is if you don't know what you're signing up for. Okay? Now, this gets into a controversial topic. If you're on a show and no one's getting paid, that doesn't mean your job is less important. You treat it like you're getting paid. If you are getting paid, then it doesn't matter how much you're getting paid.
Yeah.
So that's where the controversy comes in, is, it doesn't, like, if someone says, well, you're doing your job poorly and it's an unpaid situation, you don't say things like, well, I'm not getting paid, so I don't have to put in as much work. That just is not cool, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at with the whole thing, is you still put in just as much energy if you're not getting paid, or if you're getting paid a small amount. That brings us to a gripe of, if someone's on set and they're not putting the energy towards their job, and they say things like that, that's something that I hear that doesn't work.
Yeah.
And I've seen it not work. So
yeah.
that's like, I don't know if it's a gripe. It's a misconception that attitude works. So I mean, I have my list of misconceptions and things that don't really work. But it's going to be different it's going to be a different list, whoever you ask.
Yeah, absolutely.
Long answer, sorry.
No, that's okay. That's okay. I was going to ask, so you've worked as a director. You've worked in so many different capacities, but what goes into how you choose your crew members? When you're the one who chooses.
Yeah.
What gets people the axe, and what gets people the green light?
That's a great question. So I'll go with shorter answer on this one. The shorter answer on that is people who understand if they're asked to do something outside their job, they don't complain. That's like the short answer.
Okay.
People who understand what they're on, but that goes back to, if they don't know what they signed up for, they may complain if they thought it was something else.
Yeah.
So it's communication starts at the beginning, and then you get people on board who don't mind being asked to pick up a sandbag.
Yeah.
And they're not going to complain, or they're not going to yell at someone if they're picking up a sandbag and it's not their department. You know, I was on a set yesterday and there was none of that. It was smooth as it could be, and the weather was like the only rogue element. So I was on a fun little thing for Colton Tran, and I got to work with friends of mine, so Rob Mearmont, Josh Rowley, a bunch of cats, Eric Hansen, a bunch of people. Colton Tran's doing great out in LA, and he comes to Utah, and he's from here, and it was just a great day. You know, but you know, you pick up the wrong thing, nobody yells at you. So when you're on those things, sometimes that happens in Utah or any state.
Yeah.
You know, you be on a set. Hopefully, the best sets I've been on is people don't get bent out of shape really quickly. You know, sometimes things happen and, you know, feathers get ruffled. But, you know, if there's communication, then those things probably won't happen. Or maybe you did do something wrong.
Yeah.
And I'm not above, you know, making mistakes.
Yeah.
But you try and cut that kind of stuff off. If you're doing the right thing at the right time, then that's great. And bringing the right people on, like you said.
That's where it starts. All right, we're going to have a little bit of sponsor love here. So, real quick, I just want to say thank you to our sponsors. Voyage Direct Primary Care. They have a fantastic healthcare product for independent contractors, filmmakers. It's an excellent way to make sure you stay healthy without expensive insurance. Also, Summa Business Law, if you're doing contracts, non-disclosure agreements, any kind of business, which you should be doing, they offer a great way for low-cost legal help with that kind of stuff. And of course, Creative Stream, who lets us film in their awesome space. Check them out as well. We're going to just show some quick videos about them.
Peter is self-employed. He works hard to provide for his family, but he's found it almost impossible to provide them with decent health care. The cost of insurance keeps increasing while the coverage decreases, so Peter spends more to get less. And even with insurance, he often avoids taking his family to the doctor because of high deductibles. It's hard to get a timely appointment, and it's even harder to fork out hefty copays when visits rarely last more than 10 minutes. Enter Voyage Direct Primary Care. For one low monthly fee, Peter can provide his family with easy access to their own personal doctor, who specializes in caring for the whole family. Voyage Direct Primary Care is like the Netflix of medicine, but instead of unlimited movies, members get unlimited relaxed office visits, easy access to their doctor via text, phone call, video chat, and even an occasional house call. Say goodbye to copays and deductibles. Say hello to affordable, personalized health care. Voyage Direct Primary Care is fixing healthcare. Sign up today at voyagedpc.com.
Running a successful business is hard work, and navigating the complexities of the law is time-consuming and even costly. There are so many legal considerations: business formations, entity selection, taxes, partnership agreements, licensing, hiring employees, business contracts, non-disclosure agreements, sale of a business, estate plans, and mergers, just to name a few. This is more work than most business owners can handle on their own. Let Summa Business Law guide you through each phase of your business and help your business achieve further growth. Summa Business Law offers a flexible subscription service that makes it possible for anyone to have access to the business counsel they need. A monthly subscription can give you access to document reviews, protecting you from potential legal threats, one-on-one meetings, as well as business and legal advice. We offer mobile services that come to you to save you time and money, and calls and emails are available at any time at no additional cost. Contact Summa Business Law today to schedule your free consultation and help your business reach its potential. All right, welcome back. And now I want to shift to, if you have any good ones to share, let's talk some set horror stories. I'm sure you have some. I guess it's whether or not you're willing to share. Because I don't want to cast anybody in a bad light you've worked with or anything. But...
So I'm really good at telling juicy stories, but leaving out names. I'm really good at that for the most part.
Good.
So, but I mean, this has come up before, and I'm trying to remember the really good ones. I've been in situations where, so I was, this one might give it away, but it doesn't really matter. I mean, it's not a negative on them. It's more weather related. For 4 days, I was background on a show where it was so cold, everybody's feet started freezing. And there weren't enough foot warmers, hand warmers that could really help. So it was horribly cold, and like I said, I was background, but then I started being different types of background. They would put me in different wardrobe. So I was on one side 1 minute, and then the next side the next, and it was night, and it was freezing in northern Utah. It was 8,000 feet in February. So it was ridiculously cold.
Yeah.
And the problem was, sometimes this happens, and it didn't necessarily happen on that show, but I've been in situations where there's not enough heaters, hand warmers for background.
Yeah.
They all go to the first team, and they all go to the crew. Then the background maybe gets that kind of stuff, maybe they don't. Maybe they get a warming tent, maybe they don't. So those are the kind of horror stories that are bad. And then I've heard of shows where they don't even have water provided. That's where I think it's really bad, is the horror stories.
Yeah.
Because most of the time I've been on things, either my own or other people's things, and people try to provide these things.
Yeah.
But sometimes the stuff isn't even provided, like water, like hand warmers, and it's simple things that production should take care of. But then there's a slew of reasons of why those happen. But yeah, I've got plenty of horror stories. And then some are embarrassing in regards to my projects where I dropped the ball or one of my people dropped the ball. We were on a mountain one time, and we didn't have walkies.
Oh.
So that was on me, because I was AD, and somebody forgot walkies. So, and I was trying to first AD, and we got through it.
Yeah.
But I was first ADing without walkies. I mean, that's just ridiculous. So that's a horror story people don't think about in regards to, we don't need those.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
But the production didn't want to pay for it, or somebody forgot them, or that there's a slew of reasons why these things happen.
Yeah.
But when they do, it's the small things that can cause the biggest problems. I'm going to say that again, because that's really smart what I just said, and usually I don't make sense. The small things can create big problems.
What is a moment the most mortified you have ever felt on set? I'll lead with an example of my own, which is I had a client who wanted to shoot a video on a green screen, and I got up to his office and he said, "Where's the green screen?" And I didn't even have it in my car. It was at home, 45 minutes away. And that was probably the most mortified I've ever felt on a shoot. And I worked around it. We did something actually better than the green screen would have been. But have you had that moment?
Yeah, I got plenty of those. And but I want to touch on something you just said, that sometimes the mistakes can turn into Christmas miracles, and sometimes you got to see those things, forest for the trees. Now, there are times like this. So I'm in LA, I'm a PA helping on a project. I'm getting paid, but I'm holding a cue card for Nichelle Nichols. Okay. Nichelle Nichols is she's an icon.
Yeah.
But she's also elderly. Okay. But she's still working. She doesn't want to stop working. She also is at the beginning, this is documented, and so I'm not spilling anything, and it's everyone kind of knows that she's kind of forgetting things here and there. So the problem is, and she was a delight, but I was holding, and this wasn't my fault, but it came at me.
Okay.
And that's a time when you can't freak out because it's not personal. So she was, as far as you are to me, I was holding a cue card, and she was trying to read the cue card, and it wasn't big enough. The letters weren't big enough that she couldn't read it. And she was embarrassed. Then she started yelling at me about the cue card, and I was just holding a cue card because somebody told me to. It wasn't my fault.
Yeah.
I didn't write the cue card. But then the director started getting frustrated with Nichelle. We lost light because of that. So it was supposed to be this thing she reads, and we move on. Oh, and Gilbert Godfrey is right here. So you're Nichelle Nichols, and Gilbert Godfrey is right here. And he's like, what's going on? Why can't she just say? And that we're like, okay, well, we need to move on to get this. The sun is setting, and we need to move on to the next shot. And we lost. I was just a PA, like I said.
Yeah.
They lost the shot.
Wow.
And so I've been yelled at before, though, as a PA. And there are those things where, and I've had to fire people because I've been on above the line.
In fact, that's
so
something
it sucks
I wanted to ask you.
On both sides.
Yeah. What have been fireable offenses?
Ooh.
Again, legally.
I did not think you were. I'm not.
Legally, let's, but as long as you can share.
I don't share names. No, so basically what happens is, if it's not just, so I can deal with a mistake because I've made them and people have fired me, or not fired me and given me a second chance. So everybody makes mistakes. If fireable offense for me is if it is wasting time and there isn't time enough to give someone a second chance, if they are showing like they don't care about the mistake, if they aren't owning up to it. Usually if I am faced with, did you do this? Yes, I did. And show a sense of remorse, then I usually aren't let go. But basically for me, if a mistake was made and it was blatant and it seemed like that person didn't care about the mistake and that it don't understand how much it costs production, then it's time to just cut ties. So and I've had to fire friends, and that sucks.
Oof. That's really rough.
And so, like I said, if it costs production time, that's why I think anybody gets fired on a set.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I've made mistakes that have cost production time. So, it happens to everybody.
Yeah.
And it's not personal. And then that's the other problem. If you're trying to give someone a second chance and they're taking it personal, that's another problem. So then you have no time at that time to discuss it and try and work through it. So it's just you got to get on with the day. So unfortunately, that's the times when I've had to let people go or suggest to let someone go, because it's on game day, basically, on the day.
Yeah.
So I usually can work around other things and not fire people if it's not production day.
Yeah.
But if we're on set and we have 5 minutes to solve the problem and that person doesn't want to work with me, cool.
The deeper I get into the business, the more the fact that it is strictly a business becomes apparent. And I look at other businesses I've worked for, and they wouldn't tolerate this kind of stuff either. Like when I was a mover, right? I just did a summer as a mover. Somebody drops a box once, maybe not a big deal. Somebody continues dropping boxes. You know what I mean?
And that's a good analogy in regards to being on a film set, in regards to take out box and
P.S. I never dropped a box.
Take out box and put ball. Like if you can't juggle balls on a film set, if you can't do more than one thing at the same time, I get pushback on this that multitasking doesn't really exist, but on film sets it always seems like to me that I have to do that all the time. Be it director, producer, PA, a sound guy, you have to make multiple decisions at the same time. Is how I feel. But people tell me that multitasking is not real. But anyway, moving on, I digress.
It's another topic.
Yeah. I lost my train of thought. So I think I don't remember what I was saying.
Talking about keeping multiple balls in the air,
balls, and you have to, pay attention to what's going on. There are things now I do want to say on the flip side. I've been on the receiving end of I didn't do anything wrong. And I wasn't let go for anything that I know of in regards, but I've watched people get fired for things they didn't do. And then there's that whole thing where above the line, somebody doesn't like somebody and they say about something, and then it trickles down to the lowest PA, and that person gets fired. So there's the flip side where people get fired all the time on a film set that they didn't do anything wrong, and they just happened to be the lowest PA, and somebody had to get let go. So I mean, there's that stuff that goes on too. Awesome. And that's corporate world. That's film sets.
Yeah, no, that's everywhere. Okay, so we're gonna wrap up. We're running low on time.
Wow.
But I know it goes so fast. But I want to talk about the feature that you're currently in pre-production on. Anything that we can talk about?
So there, I'm trying to get a couple of features off the ground. I am involved in one that is a horror movie directed by Mauli Bonner.
Okay.
Who is directing a horror movie coming up called The Last Feed. We worked on a picture together called Green Flake, and I was second AD on that. My friend Matt Tucker was first AD. So I'm part of a new production company with my mates Lee Basquin and Bridger Dopp called Tiny Giant Pictures, and we're hopefully going to be doing features. Right now we're doing commercial stuff to get our name out there, but we're hopefully going to be a part of some features, and we're going to get some features out the doors. My goal for 2019 is to get more feature films out the door.
Excellent. And if people want to learn about it, I'm sure website and Facebook
they're under construction. We're gonna get to that. We will be getting those up hopefully soon. And it's gonna be easy hopefully to find us. Tiny Giant, pretty catchy.
Fantastic. Yeah, that's great. All right, well, thanks for joining us.
Sure, thank you for having me.
Some of your knowledge. Thank you for watching, and remember again, like, share, and subscribe so that we can keep bringing you this awesome content. We'll see you next week on Film 360.